Hello, and welcome to day 2 of Tour de Fleece. It's much later today. A very busy day. Very, very busy. Lots of things going on, as always. But today was so busy, in fact, I haven't even got around to spinning until much, much later. Now, what we're trying to do is this is a beautiful silk merino blend and in this lovely, gorgeous yellow. So nice. And you will notice we have character development. Hello. I did a bunch of plying last night and I've got the plying bracelet sorted. And it wasn't nearly as complicated as I kept thinking it was. I was just massively overthinking it. It's just like a cake, really, except your hand is in the middle, which stops it from collapsing, which means you don't get yarn puff. Yeah, isn't that great? Cool. That's so much easier, honestly. So the lighting is horrible. We're dealing with artificial lights. And not even bright artificial lights. This is about as bright as I can get my living room. So with that in mind, this is what we're working with. It's fine. I told you. These are going to be lower production value because I'm more frequent. Only during Tour de Fleece, and then I'll not do this. Definitely not. But during Tour de Fleece, yeah. Because I want to focus on the spinning. I want to focus on the spinning and not on the editing. So this is great because I have so much more control this way. It's great. This has revolutionized my plying bracelet. I don't even think I'm doing a plying bracelet properly, but even this is a vast improvement to what I was doing before. Vast improvement. I'm getting much less curlicues, I have more control, and I'm not breaking the single nearly as much. Isn't that wonderful? I am, however, repeatedly dropping the spindle. Repeatedly. Which is why I bought them cheap from Etsy. And I didn't get my fancy spindle. No. I've seen glass ones. You ever seen a glass spindle? I've seen them. They exist. I think that would be a mistake. Especially since I have dogs. I can't have broken glass around dogs. Although, you would think, oh, I have a 19-month-old dog. This is a spinning stick. Can you imagine something more appealing to a puppy? Can you imagine? But no, he decides, I haven't seen him around my support spindle yet, admittedly, but my drop spindle, he has decided that the drop spindle can suspend over his head like that. And literally, he will just lie underneath it, lie on my feet, underneath the drop spindle as I'm spinning. And I'm a bit like, are you okay? Are you sure? This is a lot of trust right now. And he's fine. I don't even think I've dropped it on him once. Maybe I've dropped it on him once. He was fine. Everyone was fine. To him, it was a minor inconvenience. And he went back to regularly scheduled snoozing. Yes. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's just, you would have thought that puppy would be obsessed with all of my spindles. He is not. He actually thinks that me spinning is, oh, this is good relaxing time. I'll lie on your feet. This is great. The thing literally was as this spinning wooden thing is above his head on many RPMs a second. And he's like, no, this is a great place to sleep. Just right underneath this rapidly spinning bit of wood. He's amazing. Oh, I love him. He defies all categorization. He is a strange dog. With strange ideas in his head. Oh, but we love him. We love all the dogs. Yes. But I'm not going to ramble continuously because I have a plan. I have a plan today. I have a few things I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is the fibre, because I don't think I talked about that last time. This being the merino silk blend, yes? Yes. Now, what's interesting about that is that it's my first time spinning or plying merino or silk. So, how did I find it? How did I find my first ever time? Ooh! What happened is my thumb caught it and then that sent everything flying. That's what happened then. So how was my first ever times spinning or plying or dropping merino and silk? And I find this fascinating because silk, as I understand it, has a reputation for being hard to spin. I've heard this. I've heard, oh, don't you spin silk as a beginner. Oh, don't do that. Maybe because of the cost too. Maybe. But this was a sample fibre that came with my bobbin, so I did not pay for this. It came for free when I paid for my bobbin. It just arrived, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's totally single snapping. But look, I'm near the end. I'll have to go grab another project. Well, the merino, I actually found harder to spin. Because it had such a short staple length, I found I was like drafting little bitty bits. And because of that, the spinning felt really bitty. Because most of my spinning has been on Corriedale, which is like the #1 recommended beginner fibre, right? I went on the internet, I looked for advice, internet said Corriedale. So that's what I was practicing with for basically a year. You know, and I don't necessarily can't comment if that's good or bad advice, but I wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's fine. I think it allowed me to learn, and now I'm experimenting, which I think is a success story, right? Maybe? I'm still spinning a year later. I say almost exactly a year later, because I think I started learning to spin either early summer or late spring, and I can't remember which. But yes, I found the merino much harder because it felt very bitty, and I feel like it was testing my patience a lot more. While the silk, because it had that longer staple length, even though it was slippery, that's right, that's why they say beginners might struggle with it, because they say it's slippery. Even though it was slippery, the long staple length, I felt like it accommodated for that. Because it had a long staple length, it didn't really matter that it was slippery. I could still draft it really easily, and the long staple length felt nice. It felt nice to draft. So I think potentially, I might prefer spinning silk to merino. Who knows? I wouldn't necessarily choose to spin merino anyway, because the kind of projects that I make aren't necessarily ones that lend themselves to merino. I tend to prefer a fibre that's got a bit more durability to it and a bit more something to it. So I don't hate merino by any stretch of the imagination, but I would prefer to be trying other sheep breeds. So I wouldn't necessarily choose to use merino. And now I've spun with it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it's like. That's what it feels like. Okay. That's good information. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad this has happened. But it's fully plied. So this is, I mean, I need to wet set it and finish it properly. I do need to do that, and I will do that. Not today, because it's late. If I move, can you see my clock? Oh, you can, but I'm not sure you can make out the hands. If you ever had a hope of making out the hands, that was your time to pause and take a look and zoom in if you can zoom in. I'm not sure if you can zoom in on your device. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know. I find sometimes on mobile I can zoom in on a video and sometimes I can't. And it doesn't seem to align with anything that makes sense. I haven't worked out when I can and when I can't. I think there's like 2 different modes it goes into, because my phone is like a strange format, and sometimes it goes into like this mode where it takes up the whole screen but it like crops it slightly, and sometimes where it doesn't, where there are black bars but it doesn't crop anything. That phone is one of these silly big phones. That's why it does that. But that's irrelevant. It is irrelevant, and I am rambling. You are to tell me off for rambling. I keep pointing there because that's what I am. You are there. That's what the camera is. There. Yeah, that's the camera. Blah, I shall point it to you. No, that's rude. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to actually leave this on the spindle for right now. I was like, oh, I should take it off. No, I'll leave it on spindle. It'll be fine. It can like rest overnight or whatever. But yes, the silk was actually easier to spin than the merino, honestly. And I think if I had just not looked at that, not had that sample fiber, I don't think I ever would have tried it, because I think I would have always gone, oh, that would be too hard for me. And I would think I just wouldn't have gone for it, which is kind of the same as situation as the Plying bracelet, right? Where I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. So I wasn't even going to try it. And it's only when I got frustrated with all the curlicues and stuff, that's when I tried it. And I was like, actually, this is so much easier. Oh, gee, it's almost like using the right technique makes things easier. Who would have known? Who would have known? Anyway, I'm going to go grab my other project, and then I should be right back. Are you ready for this? Oh. Black snake. Black snake. Ooh. I shouldn't do that. That's a bit creepy. Okay, that's a bit much even for me. And here is my drop spindle. Woot. Now, many people name their wheels. And I had a thought, well, I don't have a wheel, so I would name my spindles. And this spindle came from Pennsylvania. So, Penny. Penny the drop spindle. Very heavy drop spindle. I don't know how heavy, I just know heavy. And that support spindle is a lot lighter, which is part of the reason why I wanted to try the support spindle as well, because I wanted to see if that lightness would make drafting and spinning and everything easier, which I think I'm too much of a beginner for support spindling to really make the definitive argument one way or another. But anyway, there we go. Oh, I might have to change the angle here. Oh no, that's not too bad. Oop. Although I did immediately drop it. It's been like a month or two since I last was on a drop spindle, not gonna lie. I've been mostly doing the support spindle, so it's been a month or so. It's been a little while. Anyway, let's have a look. There you go. Yeah, that's quite a good view. You can see the individual strands there a little bit. I recognize it's kind of just like void fiber. It's just black. It's black fiber. And what it actually is, I should clarify. What this actually is black corridor. And my goal with this is to barber pole it with green corridor and have a 2-ply barber poled green and black corridor. And I've already made a bunch of skeins with this format, and I want to make more. Part of the reason why I want to make more is because I want to make a jumper using just this, because I think that would be amazing. I know what I'm doing wrong. I've just worked it out. I pulled it this way. I should be pushing that way. I'm actually undoing my twist because I'm going the wrong direction. That's what I'm doing wrong. So I'm kind of making it come apart and losing its strength. Okay. We will prevail. Everything will be fine. Pre-draft this a little bit. Make my life a little bit easier. I know some things. Some things I know. I don't know many things, but I know some things. Like you should pre-draft your fiber. It makes it easier. It makes things a lot easier when you pre-draft your fiber. So, let me do this. So that's going to go over my arm like that. And that to keep it out of the way of this drop spindle. That immediately feels better. Okay, we good? I think we're good. I might have to move my chair. Do I move my chair? I'll move my chair. There we go. It's actually spinning now. I will move my chair so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. I think you can actually see me now. Relatively well. That's better. It also feels better because it kind of is a bit more ergonomic. I'm twisting around. I had to twist around before because I needed access to this table, which I can't really do from this angle because the table is kind of like at a slant. But I can definitely do it from this angle. This angle works for drop spindling, and the other angle works better for support spindling. I suppose that's the thing I'm trying to say. Now, my goal here, I've got some black corridor, as I say, and I've weighed out about 20 grams of it. So the idea is I actually already have a green single 20 grams worth on a bobbin ready to go. So this Tour de Fleece is very much me trying to polish off things I have not yet done. Things I've left unfinished. So I think we've already succeeded today because we got that other thing plied. So that's fantastic. I just snapped the single. I just snapped it. We're having a great day today. Yeah, I haven't done any drop spindling in a good few months. And you can tell. You can really tell. So I think we need a bit of patience. I need a bit of patience with myself, I think. There we go. I took a moment to sort it out and do my joins and that sort of thing. Get back to where I need to be. There we are. That's much better. Back to where we were. Right. Yes, so the idea is I have 20 grams on the green on one of my bobbins already, and I've weighed out 20 grams of the black so I can ply them together. So that'll be quite nice. Yes. And I've already done quite a bit of that, but I want to do more. Now, this corridor is pretty much what I've been spinning for about a year. I did the very silly thing, and because I was a complete beginner, I was like, oh, I don't know how much fiber is like a lot of fiber. I've been knitting for 20 years, and I know what a lot of wool is in that context, but I don't know what a lot of wool is in a hand-spun, spindle-spun context. So, and last year, before Tour de Fleece, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to run out of fiber during Tour de Fleece now, do I? That would be terrible. So I ordered some fiber before Tour de Fleece. And confession time, I was like, oh, well, I need enough to make a jumper, right? And I don't. And, you know, I want a decent quantity. So I'll order enough for a jumper and some other bits as well. That'll be fine. Yeah, so that'll be about 8 balls of wool. You know, that would be fine. 8 100-gram balls. 400 grams of black and 400 grams of green. That's a lot of fiber. I did order some fibre before Tour de Fleece this year. I did not order nearly as much. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Because I don't need that much. For a start, I don't need that much to make a jumper for me. I don't. Secondly, what was I doing? What was I thinking? I was thinking, oh, I'd still have this in my stash some like 4 years later. It's not been 4 years yet, it's been a year. So let's not get too melodramatic, but come on now. Come on. I mean, on the bright side, they're not like weird, strange colors that I wouldn't use. Like, I like black. I like green. There's not really much more else to say, is there, other than I like these colors and I will use them. But did I have to make it hard on myself? Did I really? A travesty. Unbelievable. All this effort to, you know, keep my stash under control for my knitting. And then I let not my yarn. Technically my yarn, yes. Future yarn. And then I let my fibre get completely out of control. I have limited storage. I need to be more careful about this sort of thing. Whew. Yes. The second thing I wanted to talk about, since that plying was done way faster than I expected, can you tell? The second thing I wanted to talk about, I have a tendency to ramble. Have you noticed? I have a tendency to ramble. Oh gosh. I let some of the spin go into the fibre by accident. Oops. I think we're okay. I have a tendency to ramble, and that means that sometimes I just ramble. And then the whole video is just me rambling. And then editing me has to come along and cut half of it out. And then the video ends up having half the length. So if you see a 45-minute video, just know how much was cut out. Just a note to future me, can you not, please? Because I don't want to have to do that much editing. And I'm not even doing editing on these Tour de Fleece videos, so you're going to notice it way more, because I'm not going to fix it. So here you're seeing the full nonsense. I did it again. I let my spin go into my fibre, which means I can't draft it properly. Oh, there we go. This isn't going well. A big slug right there. Hold your finger there and stop being a fool. Silly. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Yes. So I keep rambling. So my solution to stop myself from rambling is to give myself a bit of a prompt. So I thought I'd look online at random questions. Random questions that I could answer. And I could talk about things within a specific topic. Yes. Contain the rambling. Put it in a box. Yes. So, today, I thought I would answer the question. I'd pick a random question and I'd answer it. Yes. So, the question that I am answering today, and these are all going to be like quite basic, boring questions. There's going to be nothing hard hitting here. No. Straightforward, basic questions that I can talk about. And yes, I did it again. That's not crazy. Well, the question for today is, what is your favourite season? Which I thought was an interesting question because it depends. It's changed over the years as well. You might think, oh, you like a lot of sort of autumnal colours, don't you? You know, maybe you like Autumn, maybe autumn. No, not autumn. It's not autumn. I know. Winter. Winter is my favorite season for years and years and years and years. So much so that, oh, if I can find it. Ah, there we go. She's got fibers stuck in it. So much so that that is the oldest charm on this charm bracelet. And I was given it when I was 15. I'm not 15 anymore, let's just say that. So, yeah, winter being my favorite season. But I have, my opinion's changed over the years. Things have changed. Because I was thinking, oh, well, do I feel the same way about winter anymore? Because why did I love it to begin with? What were the things that I enjoyed about winter? Because it wasn't Christmas. Christmas was not the thing. And when I think about winter, I think about having a cup of like hot chocolate or coffee or tea or like a hot drink of some sort and sat down with the rain just woof, crazy amount of rain outside, proper storm, you know, real rain, and it's cold out and all this sort of stuff, and inside the house is warm. It's warm, it's dark, cozy. Yes, wonderful. Yeah, I'm smiling just thinking about it. That to me is just wonderful. And you know, everything's still and quiet, and I don't know. Summer I just feel like just can't hold a candle to it. Summer, I feel like summer is like, yeah, loads of people are doing stuff outside, so it's kind of louder, and you don't kind of get the dark evenings as much. It's dark here, but that's because it's very late, and really I should be in bed. But there's something about winter. About the fact that it's cold and you get to wrap up warm in all of your nice knitwear, and oh, yes, because you know, as a knitter, I'm like, yes, here's the part where I strut around in my handmade jumper. Woot! You know, you get to really show off your knits, which I should just knit some summer t-shirts. I really should. You know, there's like ones that have like the lacy sleeves and like the eyelets and stuff like that. I think they're beautiful. I should definitely make one. And I've been thinking about this for years. And I've got cotton in my stash. I've got like a linen cotton thing in my stash. I should totally make that 100%. I won't because I have like 10 other projects on the go, which is insane, including this one, by the way. Just so you know. It's kind of wild to me how when I say that I used to love winter, and I can clearly talk about it and clearly describe why I love it, and it's not like I hate it anymore, but things change as you get older, right? So now with winter, I'm kind of like, oh, but the gas bill is higher, right? Use more gas, use more electricity, so all your bills go up. And then it's like, well, but I can't just stay in when the weather's horrible outside. I have to, you know, I have to go to work. I have to get shopping done. I have to get groceries. And I want to go visit my family and friends, and you can't just stay in the house all day. So you have to go and face the weather. You have to go out into those stormy conditions, and you have to go into the rain, the cold, and you know. And I've got literally right behind me, those fingerless gloves that I made because my hands were getting like freezing cold, even in the house with the heating on. my hands were getting ridiculously cold. But this is the kind of thing you just don't think about when you're younger, I guess. Because, I mean, I arguably had an even colder house when I was younger, because I don't even think we had central heating when I was, like, super young. So, and you can tell I have central heating because my radiator. No, I don't have a heat pump. It's kind of like one of those where it's just like, I don't generally feel like I have time to sit and stop and kind of enjoy the bad weather outside while I'm inside. I don't think I have time and the space to do that, as in space in my day to do that. So I feel like I'm just seeing the sort of negativity of winter and not seeing any of the positives. Or at least not in the same way. So it kind of means that I end up in this situation where I'm just not enjoying it as much as I used to. Like, I used to absolutely love it, and now I just don't. Also, autumn is pretty cool. I like autumn. I think I might like spring more. But I like autumn. Autumn's cool. You know, more of an appreciation for sort of all the beautiful trees. You know, the beautiful autumn trees. And how large parts of autumn are still, like, kind of nice outside. You can kind of go out and wrap up, but not really have, like, the full brunt of winter on your shoulders. That's kind of nice. There's a lot to like about autumn. I wouldn't call autumn my favourite season, though. And spring, you have the beautiful blossom. It doesn't last very long, but my goodness, it's gorgeous. You know, just, you know, walking around with all the blossom trees everywhere. It's gorgeous. I planted a cherry tree in my back garden. It's like an actual eating cherry, but I kind of was hoping I'd be able to see the blossom too. Yeah, it didn't quite make it for the heat wave, unfortunately. I just planted it too late in the season, I think. So I'm going to try again in the autumn. I am. And we're going to see. We're going to see if I can get a nice cherry tree in the back garden. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? I think that would be nice. One last thing too. I think it's really hard to appreciate the season you're in. You know, when you're actively in the throes of summer, it's like, oh, it's ridiculously hot at the moment. I'm having to wear a short sleeve t-shirt in the house, and, you know, I feel a little bit shiny, which isn't the best of feelings. So, am I gonna say that summer's my favourite season while I'm, like, melting in my living room? Probably not. But equally, would I say winter is my favourite season when I have 3 blankets over me sat in the same position? Or would I say I love autumn or spring when I'm sat in the train station getting rained on? You know? I don't think you really appreciate the season you're in any given time. Winter sounds amazing right now because it's summer. Come winter, we'll be praying for summer. Be like, oh, sunshine, daylight, because that's the thing with the winter, right? Is that the short days, I can say, oh, a nice cozy evening. Yeah, but also, like, chronic lack of daylight. Bear in mind, we're at the same latitude as Canada. I think, yeah, we're the same latitude as Canada. So things get quite dark here in the winter. It's quite miserable. Our shortest day, I think, is about 3-4 p.m. That's our shortest day, is when it goes dark around about then. But that doesn't last very long, to be fair. That's sort of the worst it gets. Which isn't great. So it's not, yeah, that's not fantastic. That doesn't feel great at all in the moment. That kind of is a bit like, it kind of feels like the whole day is just gone in a blink of an eye, and you're just like, oh, I feel so stressed, I haven't got anything done, I have all these chores and I have all this work to do at work, and then I have all these other adult responsibilities to do. You know? That's kind of what it feels like, even though it's only 3 o'clock. It's like, oh, but the day is over. I'm like, you can still do stuff when it's dark out. Hello? I don't know why. I don't know why I do this to myself. I'm just gonna join. Oh. Badly, apparently. Oh no. I've been okay with this for like a year and not done it once. As soon as I start recording, every 2 seconds I'm letting the spin into the fibre. I need to not do that. Yes, that's why I need to not do it, because it will cause the single to snap. Amongst other things. I'm doing a bad job spinning. Part of it is because it's late too and I'm tired, okay? Okay. If you have to force it, you're doing it wrong. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. I think we're okay now. Nope. Ooh. Ah, come on. I was just gonna join this. As if joining this was just some easy thing I could do. Normally it is easy. Normally I don't worry too much about it. But it decided to fight me today. It's okay. It wasn't perfectly consistent anyway. There we go. There we go. Just joining this. Get back into the rhythm. Yes, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And then I'm going to call it, because I keep making silly mistakes because I'm tired. I think we've done well today. We got this all nice and plied up, and we made progress on spinning this. So I think I'm going to call it for today. Thank you. Goodbye. And now we have reached the end of the video. And now we have come to the segment that I call the Webring. And all it is me linking to other people across the internet. And here today we have Half Crafts. Her videos are wonderful and cozy. They're funny, they're relaxing, they're cool. She passes every single vibe check. And funnily enough, you know, Tour de Fleece on her new Ashford Kiwi that she's just recently acquired. Well, the Ashford Kiwi just so happens to be, if I was gonna buy a machine? No. Well, yes, a machine, but that's not what I meant. If I was going to buy a wheel tomorrow, I would buy an Ashford Kiwi free. Because, first start, that's what's available to me from my suppliers. And secondly, I just think that's such like a nice, compact little wheel. I think for my kind of space, that would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you know, I like e-spinners, and I like the idea of having an e-spinner. But also, there's just something about the mechanical nature of a wheel that I just absolutely adore. And I just want that in my life. So For now, I shall live vicariously through Halfcrafts and just admire her wheel and see how she gets on with it too, because that's like useful information for me if I want to think about buying a wheel within the next like year or two. Well, you know, I can look at her videos and see how she's gotten on with it. So it's like genuinely useful information. And also, that cat is adorable. Just look at that cat just staring at the camera like, yeah, you have a problem. That cat has the best attitude. I absolutely adore her cat. I think her cat is awesome. But what's there not to love? Go! Check out this person. And for now, goodbye.